Coco Gauff started things off against Olivia Gadecki, ranked 91st on the main tour, making her first appearance here in France. Congratulations. But only 6-15 on the season and not that experienced on clay, it would be a relatively short day for Coco. Ouch. Coco would win 68% of her first serves and 80% of Olivia's second serves. And 6 for 8 on breakpoint opportunities, she was headed to the second round. The next round would feature the red-hot qualifier, Tereza Valentova, who stormed out of qualifiers into the main draw, where she took out Chloe Parquet. Bonjour, comment allez-vous? But Coco would go to the short ball. Tereza's momentum was stopped as Coco won 60% of her first serves and broke her 8 times. Ouch. And it was clear that Coco was starting to gain momentum. The great Venus Williams, with 23 overall slam titles, would join the conversation and say, "I fully believe Coco Gauff can win it all." And this is an official upset alert. Coco's come a long way since SW19, bursting on the scene at 15 years old. And Coco still owns the head-to-head versus the great Venus Williams. Coco stormed into round 3 against another player from the Czech Republic, the defensive powerhouse, Mary Boo. Not Honey Boo, Mary Boo. But Coco showed why she's the greatest defender on planet Earth. The first set was a bagel. Ouch. Mary Boo made adjustments in the second set, and she was up big. But Coco Gauff standing on business. That's a lock. Up next was Ekaterina. And if you're sitting near the front row, you better bring your helmets and shoulder pads. But Coco would steamroll, and she even had time to take Ekaterina to the bakery. Ouch! It was a short trip. and this would set up the clash between the Americans' Grand Slam champion Madison Keys. Keys started with the kick serve. Mom was nervous, and so was I, as Madison came out sticking and moving swift on her feet. But Coco would not be denied as she mounted the second set comeback, and eventually Matty Patty ran out of gas in the third. Coco would win 75% of her first serves and pressure Keys into 17 breakpoint opportunities. Meanwhile, in the same draw, a Cinderella story was brewing, headed for a collision course with Coco. She took out Elisa Mertens in 3, and Helena in straight sets. Drame français. This set up a clash between the French connection, where Elsa wanted to play deep, where it quickly became a track meet, where Louise kept her on the move. Le più est tombé. Then the rain came, and the drama. Elsa watched as Boisson called for the physio and for the chair umpire to stop the match due to the rain. The chair umpire said no, and luckily he did. Boisson would get the break and wrap this matchup. Up next was the walking quarterfinal herself, Big Game Jessie P. But Jessica would fall at least 2 service games short of the quarterfinal, as Boisson would create 12 breakpoint opportunities and let the world know she's arrived and she's for real. This was her 5th win on the main tour, but her first top 10 win of her career. Whoa! And in walked the future of Russian tennis, as Boisson would go for her 2nd top 10 win. The first set was a roller coaster, but would eventually see Mira blow the opportunity to close it out. Coach Martinez would watch as her player would lose control and go nutty. Where do I begin? As it started with hitting the ball in the stands, slamming her racket, arguing with the chair umpire, and by then these French fans had had enough. They started to boo, and it was loud. Boisson would continue doing the Tony Yayo as this would mean her first semi-final appearance. Whoa! Congratulations! Eight times the career earnings in 1 week, and a spot inside the top 60. But that also meant she'd have a showdown with Coco Gauff, the future of tennis, and the biggest match of her career. Coco Gauff stormed out of the gates, and in fact, there's just not much to talk about. She took Lois to the bakery, winning the first set 6-1, and put the icing on the cake, wrapping it up at 6-2. It was a fairly short match, but as Good Energy stated, Coco Gauff has to show there's levels to this. It came down to the backhand. That's right, the backhand, the one area that Boisson was struggling with all tournament long. And Coco Gauff with the best backhand on tour, the best movement, the best defense. This would lead her to her second French Open final here in the capital city. But wait, who would she face? Would it be Iga, Big Bad Iga, or Aryna Sabalenka hits hard? Okay, well, technically, we already knew the answer to that since this match concluded the previous day. But I have to build the suspense. In what was arguably one of the better matches of the tournament, Aryna Sabalenka took the first set in a tiebreak. Iga bounced back in the second, but would run out of gas as Aryna Sabalenka hits hard would wrap this up in 3. In the third set, Iga's bakery wasn't accepting orders. She was actually taking them back. I guess they're besties now. And this would set up a rematch of the 23 US Open final. But first, a paid break from our commercial sponsors, the ATP. Andre Agassi came back as one of the few men to win a French Open final down 2 sets. Could Carlo Alcaraz pull that off today? OBJ has a little bit of free time this year. He was in the building as he watched Carlos Alcaraz razzle and dazzle. That guy is amazing. He might get one of those forehands past me. I know what you're gonna say. Good Energy, you're pretty good. Okay, well, maybe one of them. And after nearly 6 hours later, in the second longest Grand Slam final in history, Carlos Alcaraz would pull it off. Fuego! With 7 match points, he better had won. Coco started off slow as Aryna Sabalenka came to ball. She got the break on Coco's first service game, and clearly it was a sign that this would be her toughest match yet. Maybe it was a puppet master, as Coco found her way back into the first set after the double break and up 3-love in the tie break. Coco, go that way! Coco would go to her amazing footwork and defense. She'd take the second set, and by the time the third set rolled around, Aryna Sabalenka was busted and disgusted. Maybe it was the puppet master. Yeah, right. We call a stop to this contest by brutal backhand. Your winner and new from the 305 French Open champion, Coco Gauff. It went exactly how I said it would. The slower surface will enable Coco, the much better mover, the much better athlete, to run circles around Aryna Sabalenka, getting balls back, putting the shots on Aryna's racket to make. And surely enough, she did not. 70 unforced errors, ladies and gentlemen, and Coco Gauff dominated Aryna Sabalenka in the second and third sets. Good job, JC, Mr. Daly, and the entire team. And of course, mom and dad, because it takes a village to raise a classy lady like Coco Gauff. Dad would say Sabalenka brought the tiger, but I'm a Leo. We had to bring the king of the jungle. Mom would say Coco showed great mental toughness, and sky's the limit when she's focused. Sloane was looking gorgeous as always, and Coco Gauff would say, she's ready for slam number 3. Whoa! And what a beautiful trophy ceremony this was. We can get used to seeing Coco on that podium. Such a classy young lady. What an amazing role model for the kids. Everybody loves Coco. Aryna would go on to be salty in the post-match interview, but what's new? Check her track record in defeat. When they go low, Coco goes high. Just ask Michelle Obama. Michelle would send her congratulations, and from the depths of good energy, It doesn't matter who was on the opposite side of the net, Iga or Aryna. Coco Gauff would have beat them both. I mean, after all, she did beat the world's ranked #1, right? Ouch! But we don't go low. We want to send a big congratulations to Sabalenka for an amazing tournament. And yes, she is an amazing champion. She'll continue to grow and develop as a player and person. But this question's to the listeners. I just put up a peace sign and a third finger accidentally slipped up. Coco said she's ready for #3. So the question is, when does she get it? At Wimbledon or the US Open? Comment below. I'm Good Energy. Thank you all for the love and support. And let's once again wish Coco Gauff congratulations on winning the French Open.